where a young prince lost his life last week, an MC called Shoki. Now I'm doing some research on this rapper. He has a picture up on his Instagram with 5 of his friends. And when I read the comments coming down, out of the 5 friends, this picture was put up, I think it was in November last year, where one of the guys in the picture was killed. And the picture was put up in November last year. We're in August this year, and 3 of the young princes in that picture are no longer with us. That's deep. A picture of 5 African young men put up in November to commemorate the passing of one. And yes, and a year later, there's only 2 out of the picture who are still with us today. This is why what we're doing is so important. This is not statistics. This is real life. This is nothing to do with, this is not TV. This is real reality that the young people are experiencing on a day-to-day basis. So if you didn't think that this was important, this is reality. And what she mentioned to us just now is what you want your daughters listen to on a day-to-day basis. Is what you want your son listen to on a day-to-day basis. Yeah? So when we discuss the Black Arts Revolution, understand how important this is to our survival as a people in this day and age. So we're going to call up our first speaker for today. And like I was saying before, when our brothers and sisters and our elders come over from abroad, we do give them the due love and respect that they deserve. But I believe that as a people in Britain, we need to give those who have studied and put their heart into doing the work and taking the time out to minister, I think we need to give them a lot more love and respect than we actually do. Yeah? You agree with me?
Yeah.
So when I call forward our first speaker, once again, I want you to raise the roof when you greet him and when you bring him onto the stage. Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
Yeah? So I want you to make some noise, stamp your feet, stand to your feet, in fact, as we call on our first speaker, Brother Kehinde.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I never come in before, people standing up. Now I can't disappoint you, so that's good. You put me in the right mood. Thanks also everybody for coming. Thanks to Inside Shoulder Events, Organisation of Black Unity, and the Army as well, Alkebu-Lan, who've come up from London and started the whole Mosiah, the month of Mosiah, and really given proper respect. The person you want to give one of the people you want to give the most respect in terms of our history is Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Garvey started the Universal Negro Improvement Association. 100 years ago we're talking, this is the peak of the association. 100 years ago, had 5 million members across 55 countries in the world. You show me one organization before or since that can come 10% of that. And this is 100, there's no internet, there's no mobile phones, there's barely telephone. Yeah. This is from hard work, from printing, from newspapers, from spreading the word of mouth, and managed to get 5 million of us in an international organization. Nobody touches that, nobody. And nobody, hopefully, we can touch that in the future, but Garvey, you have to see that Garvey is one of the most influential people across all of our history. That's him. So, until today, I ain't gonna talk for that long, but I wanna really just take one quote from Garvey and say, why is this so important, and particularly important for the Black Arts Movement? And that quote, you all have heard this quote, you must have heard it a million times, right? The black skin is not a symbol of shame, but rather a glorious symbol of greatness. Right. Now that sounds simple, right? That sounds easy, obviously, right? But you've got to remember that blackness in this society has only ever meant negative things. Only still now means negative things for them, right? Just saying that, coming out and saying black skin, blackness, me, my broad nose, my dark skin, me, that's beautiful. That was not something that is just simple. Even now, it's not something that's simple. Right. Even now, look at the people you're looking on your videos. You got on your walls. You see in the adverts. There ain't no black people out there. There ain't no Garveys out there, right? There's a particular image we're looking for, and it ain't that, right? So Garvey's message of a symbol of greatness, absolutely important, essential for the politics that Garvey does. And it's the two reasons I want to run through pretty quickly. One of them is, you have to understand that to make the West, to make everything that we have now, you see Birmingham City Centre, you see the Bullring, you see the Grand Central, you see all that, that is built of our blood. That is built of the sacrifices of millions, literally millions, of dead Africans who lie in the sea, who lie in Africa, who lie in the Caribbean, who lie here, right? In order to do that, the transatlantic slave trade is without doubt the biggest atrocity to be ever committed in the entirety of history. Now, in order to do that, they had to create a new category of people. They couldn't do that to people. They wouldn't do that to people. If they thought we were people, they wouldn't have done it, right? So they had to create us as animals, as beasts, as horses, as chattel. And the way they did that was to create what they called the Negro. The Negro is a Western creation. It's the docile, not really human, simply for physicality. You can put them like horses, you can treat us like horses, you can throw 132 Africans off a ship and then make an insurance claim. That's the Negro, right? And a big part of that was to say that we ain't got, the Negro has no history. The Negro has no culture. The Negro has no civilization. So therefore they're not people, right? They're not like the European white man. They're not like us. So we treat them like they're gonna treat them. So the idea that we have no culture and no history is absolutely essential to how slavery happens, how it happens for so long, and how we get stuck and drafted in it. But this isn't a historical thing. This isn't an old thing. If you look at where we are now, culture is still used to oppress us. Right? Culture is still a tool that's used to keep you in your place and not to raise up and come further. Right? The stereotypes, the images. When you think of black people, what do I think of black people? When they think of black people, what do they think? All you gotta do is turn on MTV Base, turn on Channel U even, turn on any of these channels, man. Actually, nowadays you turn on mainstream channels, and you see what blackness is to them. It is hypersexual. It is hyper-masculine. It is thug. It is you can just take the women and do whatever you want to do with the women because they ain't really people, right? It is you can take whatever you want to do with the men because they ain't people either. Why do you think it is that this government is perfectly accepted that picture the brother said? 3 out of 5 young black men in that picture, they're gone. You think the government cares? Because your life, our lives, they don't mean nothing. Yeah? We talk about Black Lives Matter. In America, it's roughly about 3,000 to 4,000 African American men are killed every single year. 3,000 to 4,000. Can you imagine there'd be 3,000 to 4,000 white people killed every year in America, and they would allow that to continue? Take it bigger scale. 3 million children under the age of 5 die every single year in just one bit of Africa, right? Southwest Africa. It's not even all of Africa. That's Southwest Africa. 3 million dead, gone. The reason Black Lives Matter come here is because we have to understand that black life does not matter. Not to them. And culture is one of the ways that gets replayed, right? So you believe that you're worthless, you perpetuate that you're worthless, and it goes round and round and round and round, and we keep playing this game and not seeing what we need to do and come together. So we have to expect more of the people who are in positions to put out messages to people. Because unfortunately, you've got a lot of people who talk a lot of sense. Here, Caribbean, Africa, America. They don't get that much play, right? Who are the young people listening to? Who are the young people taking in the messages from? Who are the young people seeing every day all around them? It ain't us. It really, really, really ain't us, right? Actually, I got in trouble, as some of you might know, I got in trouble a couple of months ago because I came and kicked the beehive. Queen Bee, Beyonce. Don't criticize Beyonce publicly. You'll get slated. Slated by black people too, you know? Slated. All right? And I was criticizing. I don't want to say I was criticizing it because remember this whole thing at the Super Bowl? You know, she does this whole Black Panthers. Apparently there was a Malcolm X salute. I didn't really see that one. But she's got lots and lots of ratings. Lots and lots of ratings. Black Panthers, Beyonce. But hang on a second. Beyonce has made her entire career millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of pounds of skin lightening, hair straightening, bootylicious, the same exact stereotypes when they took Hottentot Venus, Sarah Bartman, put her in a cage from South Africa and traveled her around the world. That was 100 years ago. The same stereotypes that was based on, Beyonce's made all her money off. So you think one performance in the Super Bowl, in hot pants, I will point at it, that's gonna mean that we should give her a pass? Oh yeah, great Beyonce. We've gotta expect that, and that's not even her fault, you know? That's our fault. Because you couldn't do that 20 years ago. You probably couldn't do that 10 years ago. The fact that that happens and we're celebrating it, that tells us more about us than it does about her. That tells us our expectations are gone. I mean, what happened? What really happened? That's what we think revolutionary music is. Because that is not revolutionary music, I'll tell you that now. So we have to expect much more from our culture. We have to expect far greater things from our culture, and we have a long history. I don't want to tell you all about history, but there's a long history of black artists, the black arts movement, who have taken that message of Garveyism and said that we have to counter the way that they think about us, and we have to put positive images for the young people, and there's lots of young people here today. And there's a long tradition and history of that. You're not just using it to say that you have to love yourselves, which you would think, 2016, there's a lot of black people who don't love themselves.
Word.
Or even if you love yourself, you don't love other black people. So you still don't love yourself. Right? If you don't love your brother, you don't love yourself.
Word.
It's that simple. So, just that idea is in itself important and political. But the black arts movement is about more than that. The black arts movement is also saying that we can use culture, our culture, not their culture. We can use our culture to help the actual politics, to help the revolution. I don't know if anybody's heard of Emory Douglas. You heard Emory Douglas? Yeah, Black Panther Party. One of the reasons the Black Panther Party got so big and got so big very fast, and had so much influence, is because they had a paper, the Black Panther. And in that paper, they had stories, they had news, but they also had a cartoon strip by Emory Douglas. And Emory Douglas is one of the famous things he's famous for is drawing the police as a pig. And that popularizes the idea that the police are pigs, and we're revolutionary, we're against the police, etc., etc., etc. And some of the images that you see now are based on some of Emory Douglas's work, based on some of that idea. Some of the images we've got here around Africa is strong, around taking the red, black, and green from Garvey and saying, well, these are our image we need to use. It's not just to say that we love ourselves, these are to connect us into some kind of politics, are to connect us into a struggle together. That's what the Black Arts Movement is about. It's about saying, let's bring us in together, use the art to do that. If you look at roots reggae, that's probably the best example, actually. It's probably the best example. If you listen to the lyrics of the music, listen to the sound of the music, it's not just about love blackness, it's about let's mash it up in Zimbabwe, right? It's about war. It's about burning and looting. It's about putting you into a politics, a different frame of mind where you'll go out and be part of the revolution. That's what music can do. That's the power that music can have. On a personal level, one of the first ways that I got involved in black power politics, I guess you call it black power politics, was through music. Actually, you know Assad Shakur. Everybody must know Assad Shakur, right? Assad Shakur. I didn't know who Assad Shakur was until, as a young teenager, listen to a song. It's a song you should definitely all check if you haven't checked it out. By Common. Common is now completely sold out, and I can't even defend him. But Common back in the day, Common was real. Common's one of the top five. Before 2000. After 2000, before 2000, Common was on the top 5. And on the album, like Water for Chocolate, there's a song called A Song for Asante. And what he does is he literally takes the autobiography of Assad Shakur, and he takes the start of each chapter, and he uses those words in the lyrics of his song. And if you listen to that song, you get quite a good 5-minute explanation of who Assad Shakur was, what happened to her, and why she was so powerful. And I remember listening to that song, and it just changed everything. Because then I had to go and find out, well, who's this woman, Assad Shakur? Read the book. Assad Shakur, yeah, that leads you to other places. See, this is the point about the music, the art. If it's done like that, it connects us into a politics. It ties us to go somewhere else. That's the Black Arts Movement. That's the Black Arts Movement I know and love, and that we need to bring back. So we have to expect that. Why is that like a one-off? Like I can give you other examples. That's one-off. That's like exceptional. This should be what all the music's about, right? This should be the whole point of the music. But what's the point of music? All right. So That's what we're trying to do. But I want to make one other point as well, and I'm going to stop it. I want to make one other point. And to say this is an important point. The culture itself is not enough. And Negro Warren, who writes in America, talks about culture is crucial to revolution, but it is not revolution. Ain't no revolution happened simply because somebody made a song about revolution. Right? That's not how revolution works. Revolution happens when we come together and we make revolution happen.
Yeah.
So we have to be more than just about the culture. Garvey wasn't an artist. Garvey wasn't a poet. Garvey wasn't a spoken word artist. Garvey was an organizer. Garvey organized his 5 million. Think about that, 5 million people into the biggest black organization we've ever seen. Now, he would have used art to do that. He would have used culture to do that. But that's not just culture. That's not just poetry. That's not just that. That is politics, that's organization, that is the hard work that unfortunately not many of us want to do. And that's one of the messages we've got to take forward. Right?
Yeah.
Other thing is, the Black Arts Movement, and reggae would be a perfect example, revolutionary culture only comes out of the process of revolution. If you're not involved in revolution, how are you going to represent revolutionary culture?
Come on.
I can't be sitting in my office in Birmingham State University with all my white colleagues sitting around and saying, okay, I'm going to write poems about the revolution. But I'm not connected into doing the revolution.
Don't quite work.
It doesn't work like that, right? All of this art, all of this music, and that's the reason. You want to understand why it is that we're so quick to celebrate Beyonce's very shallow politics. The politics has gone out of the music, but it's not really the musician's fault. It's our fault, because the politics has gone out full stop. If you have artists coming up in the 70s, 80s, when there is politics on the street, when there is radicalism on the street, where there's people actually getting involved in revolution across the world. I mean, across the world you got revolution. Then obviously the music is going to reflect that. The art is going to reflect that. But when you have what you have now, with all of us getting a little bit comfortable, we're all a little bit too happy, and we're all a little bit too, I just want to get my life going, etc., and we're not supporting the organizations, we're not supporting the politics, and that's the culture that we're in, then guess what? You get Beyonce. That's what you get. You always get the culture that you deserve. So let's not sit here blaming the musicians. We've got to look and blame ourselves. And if you heard if Garvey was here today, he'd do the same thing. Right? That is probably the message I'll end on. Garvey's message was always about self-reliance. Right? You never hear Garvey talking, just blame the white man for this, blame the white. Yeah, it's their fault. Guess what? It's their fault. But end of the day, they ain't gonna solve this. They ain't gonna solve the problem. We are in this position because it benefits them. So it may be their fault. There may be lots of problems in our lives about racism, etc. But guess what? If you yourselves do not strike the blow for liberty, then you will never be free. That's straight up. So I'm gonna end up listening to say, use the music, use today, use that, go and find some of that culture and that artwork that you see around and support some of the businesses and use that to motivate yourself, to empower yourself to get involved with the organizations which are pushing the revolutionary agenda, and there are not that many of them, but there are lots of them in this room. Alkebu-Lan revivalist movement are doing that work.
Yeah.
Organization of Black Unity in Birmingham are doing that work.
Yeah.
So no, I'm gonna say it. I don't come here to make people comfortable. I come here to tell you the truth. It's not enough to come to the event. It's not enough to buy a CD with Black Power music on it. That is not enough. The next thing you need to do is come and join an organization. It's come and get involved. And that has to be the message that Garvey would want. And it's 70 years after he died. So if you big up Marcus Garvey, if you big up the Black Arts Movement, come and big up some of the organizations, and let's get to work.
All right.